Breaking the want barrier. Crashing a lifetime of programmed deprivation can be a bit scary, primarily because it means changing. But crash it we must if we are to become creators by intent instead of creators by accident. And honestly, learning how to want productively, and finding out that it's okay, is not that big of a deal once we learn how to want, instead of don't want. There are 3 basic kinds of wants, each with its own purpose in our dream file. Real wants. First are the real wants that come from the don't wants. I don't want to go to my in-laws for the holidays, instead I want. I don't want to live here anymore, instead I want. Those are the easiest. Just turn the page of a don't want, and there's your real want on the other side. Negative wants. Next are negative wants, the ones that have to be flipped over before you can step out of them. You can spot them by how you feel, since they never make you feel good until you get your intent refocused. I want to be well has a clear focus on the apparent fact that you're not. That's a negative want. I want to be rich presents the same difficulty. Both are coming from a place of lack that causes us discomfort by the very fact that we don't have what we're wanting. Negative wants are always don't wants and can be tough to spot unless you tune into your feelings. If you're overweight and want to be thin, and you say innocently enough, I want to be thin, that's a negative want and will never, ever feel like a warm fuzzy. It's coming from longing, or yearning, or empty wishing, all negative energies. It's coming out of need, which is fear, not out of desire, which is excitement. Naturally, you wouldn't be wanting something if you had it, but if your only focus is on the fact that you don't have it, it will never come. It can't, for your focus is on its absence. If what you want, and the way you are stating it, is not making you feel good, it's negative wanting and needs to be flipped over to become a positive intent, an excited desire. Rightful wants. Finally, the third kind of wanting I call rightful wants for the simple reason that we have a right to our desires, no matter what our religions may say to the contrary, or our parents, or friends, or co-workers. We have a right, by virtue of our existence, to test our creative skills in any manner we choose. We have a right to displace any don't want, in our lives with a want, at any time. And if it pleases us, it will probably also please others. If not, well then, so be it. With rightful wants, we finally come out of the closet of shoulds and gotters, and go for living life, our own. With rightful wants, we accept the very real fact that it is not only appropriate and proper, but critical for us to want anything, anywhere, of any kind, in any amount, in any shape, to any degree, at any time we so desire. Anything. Anything on the face of this earth if those things will take our lives off hold, get us out of Sameville, and start us vibrating closer to the joy channel of our real selves. This is the only reason we have wants, to make us feel good when we have them. Yes, I know, all this may sound callous, uncaring, and grossly self-serving. But, please, bear with me before jumping to conclusions, and you'll see how this outrageous approach to life will also profoundly benefit all who surround and depend on you. Wanting, the necessity of life. I say to you, okay, what do you want? And you say to me, oh, that's easy. I want enough money to pay my bills, take care of the kids, have a nice house to live in, a job I like, a loving partner with whom to share it all, and perfect health. I wouldn't mind a new car, either. Well, that's a start, and a good one. But that's all it is, a start. Indeed, to most in this world, having all of those obviously wonderful things would seem like living in heaven. But if we are to unleash that power we call passion, where we can finally live closer to the frequency of our natural selves in profound joy, we've got to go beyond the obvious, way beyond. So what else? What else do you want? Yes, of course, wants change over the years. You've probably outgrown wanting a pony for your birthday, and then again, or a spiffy new hot rod to drag the mane on Saturday night. Yet still, there is within you an amazing inventory of long-forgotten fantasies. What are they? How long has it been since you dared to savor their tantalizing flavors or partake of their exotic adventures in your daydreams? What are your smallest, your biggest, your oldest, your newest, your most deeply hidden desires, ambitions, aspirations, the ones that are so far out, so impossible, so unobtainable, that never have you so much as whispered them aloud, to anyone, not even to God? What are they? What have you stopped allowing yourself to want? This planet is not Sameville. We came here for the contrast. We came here to learn how to manifest our desires. We came to learn discernment and to cultivate this strange art of wanting, which equates to manifesting. Instead, we got ourselves caught in the pointless skill of diligently collecting don't wants. We came to learn how to create our desires, fulfill our dreams, prosper, and take this exquisite experience called being physical to its zenith. We came to experience the good with the bad, that we might learn how to choose likes over dislikes. So have them. Take your treasured dreams out of that crowded old closet, dust them off with loving care, and give each one a long, hard look. Forget that they're too far out. Forget that they're hopeless or too unthinkable. Forget that someone will think you've lost it. Forget that you might be called selfish. Forget those things. Wanting is not only your right, it is an absolute prerequisite for a happy life. Oh yes, you do deserve it. Now here's the big news. You don't have to be worthy of a blasted thing to have your desires. You don't have to prove, or witness, or demonstrate, or pass a moral test. You don't have to explain your reasons, or make excuses to your family, to yourself, or to God. You don't have to be any more worthy, or deserving, or trustworthy, or upstanding than you are now. You only have to make one decision, just one, and that is to be happy. But you will never start down that road until you allow your wants, your dreams, your desires, your hankerings, to come out of the closet, not just peek around the corner of a cracked open door, but come all the way out. Like any hidden talent that you've either consciously or unconsciously known was there but didn't feel comfortable bringing out, once you accept the fact that wanting is part of you, and that doing it is really okay, it becomes fun. Joy starts to flow. You begin to vibrate differently, for when you are in joy with life you cannot vibrate negatively and you cannot attract negatively, only positively. When you are in joy with life, you cannot feel insecure, ashamed, unworthy, unsafe, guilty, or inferior in any manner, because you aren't vibrating there. You cannot feel lack of any kind. Nor can you attract it. The only thing you will do as you begin to unlock your wants is vibrate more joy, more abundance, and more freedom into your experience. Small price to pay for dreaming, wouldn't you say? And it makes no difference what you choose to dream. Choose your dream because it makes you happy, and you'll vibrate it into your life. Dream the dream of joy, dream the dream of fulfillment, dream the dream of frivolity, but dream. Having desires, wanting, is no more a sin than breathing. Never again think you have to justify your wants. Just don't. You cannot be justifying, defending, or rationalizing, which is all negative flowing, and remain connected to your core energy. You need make no excuses to anything, anybody, or any higher or lower authority for your desires. Certainly not to God. To do so is to turn your back on your own higher energy, thus denying your very existence, your divine right to life. Contrary to common teachings, gaining happiness is your hallowed right of birth. So let yourself go, and dream. You are already creating your life every moment of every day by how you think and vibrate. You might as well create it the way you'd like it to be. You still have them. One of the best ways to uncover some of those long-hidden wants is to pretend. Remember, all that's required for you to have it, whatever it might be, is wanting it and feeling it, without explanation, excuse, apology, or reason. The challenge now is to peel the onion down far enough to get past the rigid layers of shoulds, shouldn'ts, and no-nos, to the long-forgotten thrill of, and passion for, life. Pretend it's Christmas time. This isn't religious, so humor me, no matter what faith you are. You're the Santa Claus at the mall, replete with scratchy beard and pillowed tummy. You're listening to all the wee folk rattle off their long lists of socially acceptable wants, but after a while you decide to spread around some magic dust so that kids of any age will feel the urge to reveal some of their less socially acceptable wants. Up comes a little cutie pie, about 6, who hops up onto your knee. She starts to give you her list. A few special toys is seen on TV, and a couple of the old standbys like a doll and a puppy. That's it. Nothing new. So you spread your magic dust and out it comes, a big swing in the backyard, a daddy to be around more, a mommy who will take time to play, anyone, who will believe about the pretty angels in the bedroom, and somebody to always make everything alright. Oh, and lots of brothers and sisters, please. Then she jumps down, happy as a lark. Do you remember what your secret wants were at 6 years of age? Next, a tall, gangling 18-year-old comes up, having fun with the experience and quite willing to go along with the gag. All right now, what would you like Santa to bring you? Once again, even though the teenager is gladly entering into the spirit of this silliness, the list is alarmingly short. Well, I'll take that new car you've got hidden in your sack, Santa. And I wouldn't mind a few $1,000s in my stocking for play money. And if you just happen to have a hot romance back there in your sleigh, hey, that'd be cool. You sprinkle your magic, the 18-year-old relaxes, and out comes an amazing list of rightful wants having to do with careers, and friends, and success, and fame, and clothes, and living conditions, and family, and yachts, and genuine happiness, whatever that is, he mumbles. Do you remember what your secret wants were at 18 years of age, and what dreams got stuffed away so that you could live in the real world? Finally comes the adult, gleefully hopping up on your Santa Claus knee as the kids watch and snicker. And what would you like, my friend, you ask expectantly. You're dismayed to find that this person has the shortest list of anyone so far, as though every hope and dream ever owned just flew to the next galaxy. Oh, there's the new house, and new car, and a flippant crack about winning the lottery, but that's it. Quickly you sprinkle your magic dust. Nothing. You sprinkle more. Still nothing. You empty the bag. Slowly at first, as if having to be pulled up from the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean, comes a comment about having a pie shop. And another about learning to play the piano. A pause, and then another about taking a horticultural course at the local college. And another about building a unique kind of sailboat. This one's on a roll now. There's another about being able to financially help a friend open a dance school, and another about having an automatic garage door, and another about living in an elegant home overlooking the aqua blue waters of a Caribbean island. There's no stopping now. Another deep desire pours out about being able to talk with a partner about daydreams. And another about opening a summer camp for city kids, and feeling safe in earthquake country, and something about having the confidence to talk in front of a group of people. There's one about improving relations with certain family members, and learning how to be more loving, and on, and on, and on. It took a full bag, but the dam holding back those long-forgotten treasures finally broke. What dreams have you put aside? Your ambitions, your forgotten goals, even your littlest desires, what are they? What are they? Step 2. Identify what you do want. Who's on first? Back in the 40s, the adored comedy team of Abbott and Costello had a routine that always brought the house down and ultimately became a classic. It was their "Who's on first?" routine that started something like, "Yes, who's on first? Well, if who's on first, then who's on second? No. Who's not on second, he's on first, and what's on second?" And around, until everybody was in tears of laughter. To this day I go into stitches whenever I see it replayed on TV. Well, if you were to take the paradox we're about to get into now, it sounds just as loony as, who's on first? Like so. If I take all my don't wants, which make me feel bad, and turn them into wants, which are supposed to make me feel good, I still end up with something I know I don't have, which sure doesn't make me feel good, and something I'll probably never get anyhow, which makes me feel worse than I did before I started this whole stupid thing. T's a great predicament, because if you had it, you wouldn't want it. So the very act of wanting carries with it the rather obvious implication that you surely do not have it, and if you do not have it, how in the Samhill can you feel good about it until you get it? You can't. Not as long as you keep wanting things the old way. The dilemma comes from our thinking that the burden of acquiring what we want is all on us, that we're the ones who will have to figure out how to get it, how to come up with the money for it, how to arrange for it, how to make it happen. Once we get that far, our next thoughts are usually something like, oh hell, that's just not possible, which invariably causes us to stop wanting. Easy resolution, straight from our old programmed way of thinking. The key to having whatever your most divine heart desires, bar nothing, is finding a way to feel good about your want. Not wish for it, yearn for it, long for it, sigh for it, or feel discouraged about it, but just feel good about it. Remember, need is from fear, desire is from excitement. They are at the opposite ends of the vibrational pole. So here we are in this quandary. We're wanting, which usually makes us feel bad, because not only do we not have what we want, we haven't the foggiest idea how to get it. The solution? Change the feeling. When you want something, hold your thoughts on that want for a few moments until some sort of feeling comes up. Any kind, good or bad, red flag or green flag, doesn't matter. Then tune into that feeling. If you feel low instead of jazzed, disheartened instead of turned on, you're thinking about not having instead of having. You're thinking about the lack of what you want. On the other hand, if you're feeling even a twinge of excitement, or a nice warm buzz, you're on target. The whole process of creating on purpose is about getting our thoughts off what we don't want, on what we do want, and keeping them there. Once we've gotten that far, our job is to find ways to feel good about those wants instead of lousy when they're nowhere to be seen and would appear to have no way of showing up. So the question is, how do we get from down to up every time we think about a want? Because as soon as we're up, we're vibrationally overriding all those downer feelings we get when we're focused on the obvious fact that our want is nowhere in sight. Becoming jazzed. We already know that the trick to turning a don't want into a want is to find ways to feel splendid about that want instead of discouraged. And it doesn't matter if it's an old one that's been locked away in your want closet for ages, or a brand new fresh desire. The process is the same. So here's how we feel good, in fact terrific, about wanting something we don't have, or we think is impossible to obtain, or don't deserve to have, or could never afford, and is entirely too complicated for a tired brain to figure out anyhow. This is the most important component of the law of attraction that is guaranteed to pull in wants rather than don't wants. Once you know what you want, you must find the feeling place of having that want, while at the same time staying out of the feeling place of not having it. In other words, get jazzed about, what it would be like to swim, if you don't know how, rather than feeling embarrassed when everyone but you runs into the water. Get jazzed about, yourself in your new job, rather than constantly crabbing about, and feeling trapped in, the one you have now. Get jazzed about, your pride in accomplishment as you approach the platform to receive your well-earned degree, even if you haven't started classes yet. Get jazzed about, what you want your new mate to be like, and how great it will be being together. Get jazzed about, what it will be like owning your own airplane, and the joy and pride of flying friends and family all over the place. Now you're vibrating in harmony with your greater self. Your desires are joyously included in your vibrations, magnetizing, growing bigger each time you feel the reality of them for just 16 seconds. You've broken out of the negative vibrations of social consciousness to live in, and vibrate in, the only energies that are capable of drawing that want to you, the higher, hallowed frequencies of feel good. Once in that space, you and your want are literally pinging together. Instead of flying red flags and pinging in harmony with the lack of your desire, which means you'd be pulling in more lack, you're flying feel-good green flags and pinging in harmony with having it, whether it even exists yet or not. As long as you don't spend too much time worrying about why it hasn't shown up yet, that jazzed, stoked, turned on, high, happy vibration you feel when you think about having it will eventually magnetize it right into your lap. That's all it takes, good feelings, one of the rather important elements of living that we as a species seem to have forgotten how to embrace is steady diet. The wise have it. To help a want magnetize in, we need to get our juices running so we can flow out as much positive, excited energy as possible. One of the best ways to do that is to talk about the whys of wanting something. The what defines, but it's the whys that charge your battery and start the juices running. It's like asking a guy who's bonkers about eating steaks blood rare why he likes them that way. He'll tilt his head back, close his eyes and drift off into la la land as he describes the tastes, savors the juices, caresses the texture, and withers under the heady bouquet. That's big time feeling and big time vibrating, all from a single little question: why? As you think about all the whys of wanting something, you begin to latch onto it in feeling. You get more turned on, more passionate. And you're creating a whole lot more 16-second intervals to flow highly charged, very magnetic energy to the thing rather than just blurting out, "This is what I want." So by stating your whys, you're giving that want a much needed jump start. Like your car with a dead battery, until you energize that battery with a charge, your car is going nowhere. No charge, no go. No oomph to your want, no magnetism. No magnetism, no get. Because. In one of my weekend seminar groups, a gal spoke up with, "All right, I understand now that I've been focusing on the lack of my dream, but I can only come up with one why." "Okay, what is it you want?" "I want a summer cottage by the ocean." No oomph. "Why?" "Because I hate being housebound in the summer." Aha, a major don't want. I kept asking why. "Why don't you want to be housebound in the summer?" "Because I like the feeling of leisure and relaxation I get from a summer house." "And freedom, yes, I like the freedom." "Good. You're starting to connect. Let's keep going." "Why do you like the freedom?" "It makes me feel good and happy." "Oh yes. I remember feeling so happy as a youngster in our summer home. It was a wonderful feeling." "Now we're getting there. Tell me more. What's your summer home like?" "Well, it's a grey Cape Cod cottage, kind of weather-beaten, but so homey. And it has white trim." "Oh, how I love the crispness of that white trim." "More. Is it close to the water?" "Oh yes, right on the dunes." "Why do you want to be close to the water?" "Oh, because it's so soothing, even in the stormy weather. It makes me feel real and alive. I can paint there, and watch the sunsets, and lose myself in the vastness of it all, and well, everything just comes alive in me by the sea." Yes. Finally, this gal was cooking on the front burner. Her juices were running and her vibrational frequencies were becoming higher and higher, magnetically charging up that growing want thought with every new thought she fed it. I kept asking why, and she kept telling me because. And with each because, her frequencies were soaring. This thing was now becoming a part of her, incorporated in her vibrations. Ask yourself over and over why you want something, and keep asking, and keep asking, and keep asking, even when you think you have no more answers. Then pretty soon you'll be in dreamland feeling marvelous, just where you need to be to magnetize this thing in. Now, here's where you want to summon your willpower to stay in that vibration as long as you can, maybe up to half an hour or even all day. But if it's just a couple of minutes, great, that's enough to get the swirl of energy started. Remember, you need only 16 seconds to get the same vibrational thoughts clumping into an energy vortex, then another 16 seconds, and another, and another. If you slip into "forget it," that's just an impossible dream. In the middle of your upper, simply change vibrational gears, think about something that makes you feel good, get your motors revved up again, and you'll quickly override that red flag vibration. Don't forget, the universe gives us not what we speak, or what we deserve, or what we're supposedly destined to have. The universe gives us precisely, and only, what we are vibrating in every moment of every day. Nothing more, nothing less. Before you know it, the universe starts responding to your vibrations with little signs here and there, amazing little coincidences, all the magic pieces necessary to put this thing together. They just keep coming, and coming, and coming until it's all in place, with you right smack in the middle, living your once impossible dream. But you gotta taste it, feel it, smell it, and drool over it before it's going to happen. You gotta talk about it until you can feel yourself living it, and then talk some more until those turned on feelings, the fundamental element of step 3, come to you with the utmost ease. Step 3. Find the feeling place of your want. That magic valve. One of the best ways I've heard to describe feel-good energy is the analogy of a valve, or nozzle, the kind you find on a fire hose. We're the valve, and the fire hose is what carries the energy flow from our source, that greater part of us that we're forever connected to. That stream of non-physical energy is what we really are, an unfathomable force of joy, abundance, and security. Most of the time we keep ourselves cut off from that full stream of energy. How? With our closed valve negative energy. But when we tune in, turn on, and feel good, we open that magic valve to let our high vibrational flow flood through us. Now we feel alive, up, vibrant, energetic, excited, turned on, all better known as happy. Like the water pressure in our hose, the energy is always there. But we have to take purposeful, deliberate steps to open that rusty old valve if we want our high-frequency source energy to flow through. Having an open valve, feeling good, means positive energy is flowing to us, through us, and from us, and we're creating on purpose. Having a closed valve, anything that feeling good isn't, means we're flowing negative energy, resisting our natural flow, and creating by default. This doesn't mean we have to be flapping around higher than a kite all day long. All we have to do is squeak open our valve even a crack, and we instantly let in a little bit more of that life-giving flow. If we can find ways to feel just a tiny bit better than before, one little feeling at a time, then we've begun the reversal of a lifetime of negative attraction. Intending. After you've started to get your wants out in the open, there's one more step that's helpful here, and that is turning your wants into intents. Because the word want might still cause some emotional blisters to erupt, you may feel a whole lot better intending. Intending is sort of a combination of I want and I expect. And a good place to start is by intending for small things throughout the day. Not only does this provide some valuable practice along with rapid evidence, but it opens up new and much needed energy pathways that have never been opened before. And each new pathway means you're receiving more of that higher flow of source energy than you were before, so feeling good becomes easier, which opens you to more and higher energy, which, etc., etc. Daily intending develops these new outlets for the energy to flow through. The more we intend, the more we're using that high-frequency energy, which quickly becomes a two-way street. The more we use it, the more of it we're getting. This creates a sort of protective cover around us, like wrapping ourselves in a safety blanket where we have much less chance of being sideswiped by old beliefs that continue to bring us things we don't want. I make it a point to intend with little things all day long. I intend to arrive at my destination safely. I intend to be on time and feeling great. I intend to find a convenient parking place. I intend to feel good in my clothes. I intend to sign the deal. I intend to keep my bank account at a certain level or beyond. I intend to find joy all throughout the day, not such a little thing. I intend to help my clients feel at ease. And, as long as my valve is open while I'm intending, they always come about. On the larger issues, if your intent for the day is to feel joy, you wouldn't even be able to find an upsetting show on TV. If your intent is to have your new kitchen installed without a hitch, that's the way it will be unless you close your valve over something. If your intent is to finish the harvest before supper, watch how easily you get it done. With major, larger wants, if you will turn every want into a statement of intent, and allow yourself to feel the power behind it, like YEEEESSSSSSS, you'll be amazed at what transpires. I intend to move by next year. Means, I haven't a clue how it's going to happen, but I know I'll find out, because I'm determined to do it. I intend to have a new relationship. I intend to learn to line dance. I intend to have a full bank account. I intend to find happiness in all that I do. I intend to make new friends. I intend to find a deeper spiritual connection. You must feel the strength when you speak it. Feel the authority, the force of command, the muscle behind the energy leaving you. The completion. But use with caution. Intending is a dynamic unto itself, not to be abused and never to be turned into a mindless habit. Dare to want. Whether you call it intending or wanting, take off your shackles and do it. Dare to want. Dare to dream new dreams. Dare to take your old dreams out of the closet and dust them off. Give yourself permission to want. In fact, make yourself want. Then pick a funky, non-essential little want and start talking about why you want the thing until you get the hang of clicking into that turned-on feeling. Before you know it, you'll be having physical manifestations on your hands, and I'm here to tell you, when that happens, it's a screamer of the first degree. Check out what you like or don't like about what you've got in your life right now. Then get over the guilt of wanting and get that want motor revved up, for wanting brings the passion, passion brings joy, joy brings more wanting, and now you're creating on purpose. You are the inventor and partaker, all in one. Never mind being the design engineer who has to figure out how something will come together. That's no longer your job. Go for material things, of course, but also stake your claim for universal or intangible things such as, I want joy to radiate through my heart. I want my whole family to feel joy. I want to know that everything is always okay. I want to have a greater sense of freedom. I want to know I have choices. I intend to see more choices. I intend to trust that all is well with the world. I intend to learn deliberate creating. I intend to learn to become an energy manager. I intend to be aware of my resistance. I intend to be aware of my feelings. I intend to enjoy life to the fullest. I intend to have more fun. I intend to lighten up. I intend to have a closer connection with my source. The point is to get over the stigma of wanting, and do it. Dare to want whatever in this whole wide world will give you pleasure, for wanting is taking charge. Wanting is creating. Wanting, and manifesting those wants into reality, is fulfilling your reason for being. And therein lies the true richness of life. Chapter 5. Conditions be damned. This whole process of deliberate creating is really quite simple, but not always easy. At least, not at first. In fact, I'd be inclined to say it's a bitch. But once you get the hang of how you're focusing and flowing your energy, and see what the all too obvious results of that are, it becomes a snap. Well, almost. Let's do a quick review before diving in deeper, and take a look at how far we've gotten into the 4 steps of deliberate creation. We've reasonably examined step 1. Identify what you don't want. We've moderately examined step 2. Identify what you do want. And we've taken a pass at step 3. Find the feeling place of your want. Now we're getting to the real guts of step 3, the tough part. Learning how to feel good about something we want and don't have. You know as well as I do that our usual thinking has been along the lines of, when what's over there comes here, then I can be happy, or, when I have the right body, then I can feel good about myself. When I'm making more money, then I'll be rid of stress. The old gotta find a way to fix it so I can be happy syndrome. Yet it's been precisely that kind of thinking that has made our lives so difficult. When circumstances have not suited us, which is more times than not, our first reaction has always been to search for physically aggressive remedies to remove it, release it, repair it, correct it. We are, after all, physical beings. Don't like it? No problem. Whack, bang, smack, fix it. But, if whatever it is we're trying to accomplish doesn't get fixed, or it seems too big to change, or too overwhelming to attain in a time frame which suits us, we get all disgruntled and frustrated. And you already know the results of that scenario. In the energy of our disgruntledness and frustration, we're simply attracting a whole lot more of whatever it is we're trying so darn hard to fix. She started with, safe. My old college friend Liz had lived with her husband for years in a well-to-do area of Arizona, raising 2 children and working as a volunteer for her favorite humanitarian organizations. When her husband, Clint, died recently, Liz was faced with some rough decisions. She hadn't worked for 3 decades, but getting some money coming in was mandatory. The family had moved into a large new home only 3 years before Clint's death, a home that came with hefty payments but very little equity, so that selling the new place to purchase a smaller one with smaller payments was not an option. The worst part was, Clint had left very little life insurance. Without warning, Liz found herself between a rock and a hard place. If she sold the house, there wouldn't be enough to buy a smaller one. If she kept it, she was facing payments she couldn't afford. Sure, the kids offered to help, but that would provide her with only temporary relief. Liz's one talent was her artwork. She was an accomplished watercolor artist and her paintings of the Arizona desert were a delight to behold. She had never sold much commercially except to admiring friends, but now she found herself with the enticing possibility, if not necessity, of becoming a full-time professional artist. Being a gutsy gal, she decided to go for it amidst protests from her offspring that she should find something more traditional, like a sales job with a local department store. Between what Clint had left her, their small savings, and what she borrowed from the kids, Liz had enough to keep her going for about a year. But every time we talked, it was, gosh, I haven't sold anything yet, I don't know if this is going to work or not. I've got to sell something pretty soon or I don't know what I'll do. Liz was not a student of flowing energy, nor did she care to be. She'd listen politely to my sometimes not so gentle suggestions that she stop focusing on her current negative conditions, lack of sales, and start focusing seriously on what she wanted and how that felt to her. Over and over we talked. Over and over Liz would say, I don't think I can hold out much longer. I'm getting so nervous I can't even concentrate on my painting. What am I going to do? I'm terrified. One day I just couldn't hold back any longer. Acting out of good old, tough love, for a dear, dear friend, I started talking low, slow, and very firmly. All right, my friend, if you want to sink your own ship, be my guest. I wash my hands. Enjoy your misery, and please don't call again with your problems. You could turn them around in no time if you'd stop bellyaching, so whenever you're ready, give a call. I mean it, no more calls until you're ready to take control. I felt like a heel, but I wasn't going to become another link in her chain of pain. For 3 weeks, all was quiet on the Arizona phone waves. When the call came, I could have cried. You win, I give up. What do I do? And she meant it. First I got her talking about all the things she didn't want. That was easy. Lose the house, lose the respect of her friends and children, lose the chance to paint professionally. Then we started on the wants, piece by piece. We zeroed in on the house first as that was the most pressing, that, and any other subject relating to money. Liz could speak of nothing else because that's all she'd been thinking about. Her paintings weren't selling, so all the money was going in the wrong direction, out. Okay, Liz, the first thing we're going to do is get you feeling good and vibrating differently. Feeling good? You twit. How on earth do you expect me to feel good when I'm about to lose everything Clint and I ever had? That's why I'm calling you, to figure out how to sell my paintings. If they'd start selling, everything would be okay and I'd feel as good as you want me to feel. That was precisely the problem. All Liz could see in front of her was the lack of what she wanted. The more she looked at all she didn't have, and all that was not coming in, the worse she felt. The worse she felt, the more frantically she'd run around in circles trying to turn it around. The more she ran, the worse she felt, and the worse she felt, the more nothing sold. She was focused completely and perpetually on the grim conditions of the moment, believing them to be the sum total of her reality. Facts were facts. Her attempt at supporting herself through her art was not working. "I've got to face reality," she'd sigh with resignation. But I kept at it and finally got her turned around to talking about why she wanted to keep the house, which at the time she felt was a preposterously stupid thing to be talking about. All right. I want to keep the house so I won't have to move." That was a don't want, but I wasn't about to confuse her with details. "And why don't you want to move?" Suddenly there was a softening as she said, "Well, because Clint and I loved this place, sir. And it still feels like our place, like Clint is still here with me." Her resistance to feel good energy was softening. "None of that feeling has gone, and I do so cherish the way it makes me feel, except when I think about having to make the payments." Bit by bit, we worked more into her love of their home until I heard such a sweet joy coming through. She was feeling good, and then some. Her valve was wide open. "Liz. Stop. Right this moment I want you to feel what you're saying." "What do you mean? How does what you're saying make you feel?" "Well, wonderful, of course. Nurtured, taken care of. My God, safe. Oh yes. It feels so warm and safe. Good. Now hold on to that feeling." "Got it?" "Yes, I've got it. Feels good, doesn't it?" "Sure it does, it feels great." "All right. From that place of safety, from that place of feeling so good, think about how you'll feel when you're easily making payments on the house. Never mind how you're going to do it. Never mind you can't do it right now. Where you're going has nothing to do with where you are now. Nothing. You've got to remember that. This condition you see yourself in doesn't mean a thing. Once and for all, take your focus off it or you'll never get where you want to be." "Got it. I think so, but how?" "Never mind how. Your only job is to find ways to feel good, and to forget about what's staring you in the face. You want to find ways to feel a little better, and a little better, and a little better until you feel pretty good. And when you feel pretty good, in those moments think about making those easy payments on your house. Can you do that?" "Oh, I don't know." "Okay, how does being able to make those payments make you feel?" "Terrific. Of course. Think about the thrill of selling your paintings, not from a place of gotta do it, but with a yowie, I am doing it kind of elation. When you think about it from that perspective, how does that feel?" There was a long pause, then, "Oh gosh, freer than a bird. Heavenly. Right. That's the feeling. That's what I want you to go to, that feeling, all the time. Liz, take your focus off your current negative conditions. Stop looking at them, stop thinking about them. That only makes you feel worse. You've got to remember that your only job is to feel good. Period. Then let the universe take care of the rest." Liz felt so wonderful talking about how she and Clint loved the house that she figured she could recreate that feeling fairly easily. At any rate, that's where she began.